by the way.
Absolutely.
Talk about it.
Yeah, here you go. So we've now turned the live on, so if you're watching, hello, you're here now. So yes, hypothetically, I did tell her one thing before telling her that it was gonna be in front of a bunch of people.
Yes, so she was, Jonathan said, hey, now I've been running from this,
You have, like I've emailed you a bunch of times.
I'm camera shy, I really am. And he was like, would you come talk to the Women's Accelerate, which I've been through this program, I absolutely love it. And I love talking to women, so I said, sure. And then I found out on Facebook it's gonna be live streaming. So I said, Jonathan, is it gonna?
But it was too late, because I'd already told a bunch of people.
I said live in capital letters. He said, well, yes, people are gonna be there. I said, you know what I mean. So yes, totally tricky.
Thank you for still showing up. I was pretty confident you were gonna show up, but still, thank you for that. All right, so what we're gonna do is that, so for, I don't know, 30 minutes or so, we'll chat about the journey of everything. Then we'll open it up, and if people have questions, then you can throw stuff out, and we'll chat as long as, I don't know, as long as we probably need to and should, and we'll just go from there. But, Karen Dugas, Above the Limit LLC, teaching and tutoring and all these things. So for you, like, where did the idea come from? Like, what were you doing? Because this wasn't like your full-time thing.
No, this was not my full-time job. So I've been an educator, like Miss Bridget up there, she's my good friend. I've been an educator for over 20 years now. I started teaching at Como High School as a substitute teacher, and they needed a full-time teacher, so I stepped into that role. I stayed at Como for about 13 years, and then I went to Little Christian School for 6 years. And while I was at the last school I was at, I needed a financial breakthrough. And I have a bunch of online mentors who don't know me, but I know them, like the Budgetista, Patrice Washington. And Patrice is the one that challenged me to make some extra money. She asked, what is your skill? What's in your hands? What do you know how to do? And the only thing that I could think of was teach. And I had been tutoring all my life since I was a kid, really, since high school. But I would always turn down money. You would try to pay me? No, I love to do this, right? And so she challenged me to put it out on Facebook. She said, you know, for what you do, put a price on it. And I did, and 2 families signed up. And it's been rolling ever since then, and that was 2017.
And so it started to grow.
Yes.
And so for a while you did both.
Yes.
That's what we always talk about, right? Like, do both for as long as you can.
As long as you can.
Because once you say goodbye to a full-time job, it's now.
Yeah, the hustle starts. You know what I mean? It's different. Look, in 2017, I started tutoring, and I was just going from library to library, Karen Pro Siemensville, tutoring these families. And then I moved into a small office space downtown, literally a 10 by 10 room with a card table and 4 chairs. My son, Jeremiah, was my first employee, and he tutored with me, but we outgrew that space very quickly. And in 2018, the money was low. Jonathan, I was balling, you understand? Like, I have my full-time job, I have this side hustle. I mean, my husband and I were taking trips every month. And I look back like, how foolish, like, go get this money back, you know what I mean? So, but definitely it's a learning curve. You know, a side hustle versus doing this full time, requires two different learning curves, requires 2 different types of energy, you know, to make it work.
So, I mean, so you come up with sort of, what can I do? I can tutor, I can start to do this, and then it starts to grow. You know, you realize that you're providing this service, you're solving this problem, but the mentality and like the mindset of it, you know, is that something that was always there? Was that something you had to really lean into?
Yeah, definitely leaned into entrepreneurship. I never saw that for myself. I did not come from a family of entrepreneurs. My husband was the first one to take the leap. I guess about 2 or 3 years before I did, I watched him start his business, hopefully his handy services, the plug. Okay, he's an electrician, and he took the leap, and I was jealous of his freedom. Right, entrepreneurship, you have a lot of freedom of your time. He could wake up late, and you didn't have anybody to answer to tell him he was late. You know what I mean? But you could also work late. So he definitely led the path for me. In my position where I was teaching, I think I began to covet power.
Okay.
I wanted power over myself, power over my time, power over the freedom to tap into my abilities without limitations.
That's something we talk about empowerment as this piece of entrepreneurship, but to think about it like that, whenever you, again, not saying that everyone needs to quit their job and start their own business and all this, but you want to. But this idea of like, you start to realize like all the spaces where are you in control of what's happening to you?
Yeah.
Or is it just like, you start thinking of all the spaces where you're really like at the behest of someone else over and over and over and over.
That part, and also like, and some of the ladies in the room this may resonate with you as far as feeling like you've reached capacity in that space. You know what I mean? Like, I think his name is Wade. I met him recently, and he said, quote, he said, grow or die. And when I tell you that is like my mantra now, like grow or die, like in every area of my life, that's what I want to do. And I said it to one of my friends, and she said, well, that's what happens in nature. Once things stop growing, plants stop growing, they die. And same thing, I feel like that on the inside of me. You know, I have to keep growing. I don't want to be the same Karen 10 years from now, 5 years from now.
You're too powerful, you're too strong for that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that it's like thinking about, you put things on, if you think about things on a slope, you either go up or down. Like there is no maintain, there is no stay, there is no, well, just let it, you either grow or you die.
Or you die. You gotta accelerate or you want to decline.
Yeah. And so much of that, we talked earlier about mission and going after your mission and moving towards your mission and thinking about your business like that. There's a benefit to seeing your mission as this thing that you never achieve. But that's the point. You're constantly working towards it. Like, hey, you will never ACT prep every kid in Lafayette, you know? But it's not gonna be because of lack of effort.
Right. And that's so good because I'm still like learning every single day. I'm still learning to perfect my craft, my skill. I still watch ACT prep videos on YouTube. I'm still learning from others. I still order books online from people who made like the 36 and learn strategies. I'm still learning, and I think that's a fun part too of what I do that keeps it from not being boring ever. You know?
Yeah. I think that's an interesting part is as we look at this afternoon, we're going to talk about planning and if you plan into your day, you have to plan into your day time to work on your knowledge of the industry. You know, and so maybe it's watching a YouTube video, maybe it's reading some of a book, or you know, if you're baking, it's spending time every day looking at new recipes or different recipes, or how do I tweak this a little bit? And you have to work that into your schedule. Because as an entrepreneur, like no one's gonna come along and tell you like, hey, make sure you stay on top of the latest trends and
It's true, and also learning how to add value to my family, like what information do they need that they don't know how to access, but I can find that information and make it easier for them to obtain that information. I think that's also another piece of adding value, and so that's always keeping me plugged in to the latest thing, just like what you asked me
Yeah.
months ago about, will the ACT ever go away? And it's like, well, if it does, Jonathan said, you might want to think of a plan B, you know what I mean? And so, but that had me thinking, had me looking up news articles, you know what I'm saying? And being able to answer that question, should a parent ask me that?
Yeah, and realizing, I think, because if you just say, well, hey, I'm gonna help you get your ACT score up so you can get in, or you can get, but just because you got the ACT score, you can't walk up to the university and say, hello, I got this score, can I come in now? Like, no, there's the application process, there's financial aid, there's all these spaces, and you've sort of been able to find ways to not just ACT prep, but also financial literacy, but also how to go through the application process, partnering with people,
Yes.
so that you're not just the ACT lady.
Thank you, it's true. And I think it comes from a place of listening to my families, and watching, watching their journey, and once they get the ACT score, now what, And a lot of them had the ACT score, but didn't even apply to college yet. Or they didn't fill out the scholarships, or the parents would really say, hey, I don't know what to do next. And so, because I care about my families, it was like, okay, well, there's a hole here.
Yeah.
There's a need for something. And I'm so grateful partnerships is one of the things that's taken my business to another level. And not just my business, but me personally, to help alleviate, am I saying that right? Some things off my plate. I partner with Keisha S. of Pathway Partners.
Mm-hmm.
She has mastered this piece of college transition from high school to college to trade school to military. And so now I can say, whew, I can stay in my lane, right, and focus on tutoring and ECT prep, but I can refer people to her. And I love those kind of partnerships and help other people to thrive in what they have become experts in.
Yeah.
And can I say this piece about being an expert I share with students all the time? Just start. Everybody in the room has an idea, has a business. Start. I don't care if it's plan the workshop, plan the meeting, go get one client and help that client till you can't help them anymore, and master that. And once you master that, you grab another client. And don't be afraid to ask for a price, because people will pay for what they need. If your AC goes out, you're gonna look for the handyman, but you're gonna eventually be like, it's hot. How much is this? And you're gonna find a way to pay for it. And so everything that you have within you is valuable. It's okay to monetize on that.
So let's touch on that for a moment, because for you, so much of, man, like, you can't teach unless you got a heart.
Yes.
Like, full stop.
Teachers, period,
Come on.
yes.
But, so you start, you're tutoring, you're trying to help, but you also need to eat.
Yes.
And so, what was your kind of maybe journey of figuring out pricing and figuring out, hey, how am I gonna help people but also exist?
Yes, man, that's hard. First of all, so I started, that Facebook post I told y'all about, the fee was $15 an hour. And, the average tutoring rate, $45 to $100+ an hour. But $15, I was like, but the first time somebody put $15 in my hand, and it wasn't a check that I got from somebody else, but it was for, in exchange for what I was able to provide. It felt like gold,
Yeah.
right? As far as that balance of eating, I'm still trying to figure it out, because I'm still underpriced compared to the industry. But I know where I live, and I know so my goal for my community is to normalize tutoring. It used to be for like the elites. You think it's for the elites. But if your baby needs help, your baby needs help,
Yeah.
And coming to classes like this and having one-on-ones with Jonathan, he's like, you gotta eat, you know? And having a business coach, I have a business coach, and every session, Ashley says, you gotta eat.
Yeah, because
You know?
and it's not that, you know, when we talk about, you know, the magic of, you know, letting people pay different prices.
Yes.
And it's okay if different people pay different prices.
Yes, it's okay, it really is, and, I have such a heart for this. So my largest ACT package is $1,000, right? 10 sessions for $1,000, and it was hard to say at first. You know, they were like, how much is it? And I'd be like stuttering, trying to go around it, but then you keep saying it, and it's
Well,
like,
you just, you know, come on, and I'll.
yeah, it's just $1,000, you know what I mean? But you can pay payment plans, you start, and like, I have this, you know, you start jumping in. It's hard to say that until you start saying it again and again and again. And somebody, A.B. Ridgway told me, he said, if it's too easy for you to say your price, it's not high enough. It should be uncomfortable. And those who want it, I promise you, there's some people I say my price too, and they're like, that's it. And then there's some people.
Let's go back. It was actually what I meant to say. That was each session.
And then there's some people I talk to, and they're like, they go silent. It almost like want to hang up on me. And then I'm like, yeah, you know, I gotta bring them back in. But then there's a student like today. She called me SLCC, and she was like, finals coming up, I need help. And I said, okay. I said, when do you need a session? She said, are you available now? I said, I'm not available now. And then we went through all the things, and then she said, how much is it? And I gave her I lowballed her because I knew she was in a situation. So I think I told her $30, and she said, do you accept financial aid? That's all I'm floating on right now. I said, girl, here's the Zoom link. Meet me at 2 o'clock. Like, I'm not gonna charge you. You know?
Yeah. Yeah, because now, you can't take a lot of those.
I can't take a lot of those. Don't try to play that. So your children call me. I have a heart for when kids call me. I'm like, you can have it. I do. But, and you know, I'm gonna work with her until she reaches, she passes her finals. But I think that's a great place to have in my heart. That this is not about the money, it's about helping people.
Yeah, and because that's the mission, because profit's on the other side of the mission. Profit isn't the goal, profit is the result. Profit is the result of providing value, going after your mission, and helping people. And when you do that, you have plenty of people who don't balk at $1,000. And that's what allows you to every now and then, rarely,
Yes, rarely.
say, just get in the Zoom. Doesn't matter.
Come on in the room.
Just come in the Zoom. Just don't ask questions. I'm gonna help you out, and it's gonna be fine.
Yeah.
It's gonna circle back at some point. So I mean, so that is a good kind of transition of that mentality, again, of providing value and whatever you've got to do to make things happen. You have done an incredible job in that space. ACT prep and tutoring, and now financial literacy and the summer camps that you're putting on. But you're also becoming more and more active just in the community in general. I sit back and watch Northside High, that's never had an alumni network, have like what seems like 6,000 people in the alumni network.
We love us on Northside High. Do I have any alumni in the room? Whoop, whoop, okay, I got one. So yes, community work.
So, but just to kind of put the bow on that, like there wasn't one.
There wasn't one.
And so,
But that was surprising.
Yeah.
So I have begun to work at Northside. Last year through the JAG program, Jobs for America's Graduates. And it's a program on, I know Northside and Carrollton High's campus for sure. These students have barriers, whether they are parents themselves, whether they have an incarcerated parent, whether low economic status. They have to have 8 of those barriers to be allowed to take this class. That prepares them for real life transition from high school to the workforce. And I began to work with them last year and realized the seniors, when I talked to them in April and asked them, what's your plan? They didn't have one, and graduation was in a month. And I reached out to my alumni association, which I thought was there, but wasn't. And so that's how it got started. I was like, where is it? And they were like, we didn't have one. And so, you know, Northside was one, we absolutely loved our school. So it really was like, woo-hoo, and they all came, you know, and it's been an amazing journey.
And so, but that in and of itself was very similar to starting a business. I mean, like, you know, saw the need, recognized, okay, so what do we need to do? And so, I don't know, tell me a little bit about that process of, you sort of, I guess you mentioned it right now, but it's just like starting a business. I mean, it's just like, hey, what's the need? Where can we get resources? What do we truly need to get going?
Yes. As far as the alumni side or the business side. So the alumni side, it started off with me having a conversation with my sister-in-law, Dugas, and we talked to Principal Miles, he's the current principal, and said, hey, if we invite the alumni, would you welcome us to work alongside of your staff? He said, absolutely. He said, absolutely. After that, we just trickled. It was me and Chantel, and a few more alumni, and we met for about 3 months. And they were actually talking about launching, I guess in the next year. Y'all do things fast. Where's my Karen? We work fast. You give me an idea, it's gonna happen. My friends lovingly call me the executor because if you have an idea, we can make it happen. And we launched a lot sooner and was very just overwhelmed by the response of people who are already waiting to have a foothold in it.
Because it's like what you said, I mean, like, just start.
Just start. Just show up, y'all. Just showing up. Like, you'll be surprised how much that'll do for you. Show up to the meeting like you don't feel comfortable in. Like, when you feel like you don't belong at the table, show up anyway. When you feel like you don't belong in the room, show up anyway. When you feel like you don't know what to say, show up anyway. That's after that.
I think that's, you know, I like the process, because we talked today a lot about the process of entrepreneurship and the process of, and how if you just break it down and follow the process, you know, and so yes, it wasn't, you know, it was starting this alumni network, but it was just follow the process. What do? You go meet with the principal. Principal says yes. All right, let's go grab a couple people. They said they want to do it too. All right, well, let's sell some yard signs and some other stuff. All right, that's cool. It's just the next thing. It's not overwhelming. It's not that. Now, going from step, hey, I think we should have one, to what you're doing now, that was crazy.
Yeah.
Because there were 20 steps between now and there. But the next step isn't. The next step's not scary.
And when you invite people on the journey, right?
Now you're not alone.
You're not alone. You tap into other people's expertise, other people's skill sets. And we have a solid executive team, our board of directors for the association. And we communicate. It's like it's like God put us together to make this happen. And it's solid, you know. And I think working with the team in entrepreneurship can be very lonely, a lonely space when all the thoughts are in your head. And everybody, there's people who want to work with you, but you also want to compensate them. Not everybody will volunteer their services. And so it can be a lonely space, but if you can grab hold to anybody who's willing to help, come here. The Lead Center, you're doing it now, Women's Accelerate, Northside Accelerate. The Small Business Development Center, I spend a lot of time in this building. But connecting through this, I have received grants. As a result, I received a small business loan with help with my business plan. I've been invited to sit in mastermind groups. As a result of this, my business has grown from that 10 by 10 office room to a 2,500 square feet space. God is good. And so I literally have 10 of those 10 by 10 rooms in my space. And, you know, it's amazing, but I would not have been able to do that alone. You know, there's no way.
Yeah. And again, going from 10 by 10 to 2,500, that's nuts. But the next step wasn't.
Right.
But it's just the next step. What's the next thing to take care of? What's the next thing that we do? And then just let the momentum go from there.
Yeah.
You know,
Let
build
it go
build
from
it.
there, and God's scary. So when you feel it in your gut and your heart beating fast, that means you should do it then. It don't mean you should run from it. You should do it. Just give into it. Do it scared. You know, get somebody close to you who's gonna say, I believe you. I think this is gonna work. And you're gonna people say, God, you crazy. But that's okay. You do it anyway. And you know what? It's worth saying you tried
Yeah.
and failed, and then a small F, right? Because every failure is a learning opportunity, and you get back up and you try again, and it's gonna be better and better. Hey Lou, it's gonna be better and better every time, you know? So you just get back up and try again, you know? And the higher you climb, the more people you'll find who are like you, who do things bravely and who will encourage you. I'm meeting people I never thought I could meet, and some are strangers, some have become friends, but they are cheering me on.
Yeah.
And I would not have had that
Yeah.
if I would not have stepped out of my comfort zone. you know?
Absolutely. Yeah, because you can't help but attract that whenever you're putting it out there. You know, and so as you start to make those connections, and so you start to be in a room where maybe you didn't ever think that you belonged in, but you were there because maybe someone invited you there, or you saw an opportunity to meet someone, but then someone else is in that space, and now all of a sudden you're making a connection that you would have otherwise never had the opportunity to make.
You know, we're our worst critic, we're hard on ourselves. When people speak life into you, when they highlight your strengths, listen to them. They're telling the truth about you, you know? But sometimes we can suppress that, like, I'm not all that, I'm not this and that, oh, but I have this other issue. And you very well have the other issues. But you also have a lot of good things about you. And listen to that, and it's okay. You know, some people think it's pride when you ponder on that, but it's not. Those people are telling you what they see, and so it's to encourage you to press in, tap into that, do that more. Let your light shine, right? And don't hide it under a bush. Let your light shine. One of my business coaches said, shine, don't shrink. And I replay that in my head all the time.
Yeah, I like that. So whether it's the Alumni Association or the tutoring or the ACT prep, and you're kind of continuing to be open to opportunities, to problems, to whatever it might be. How does that play for just in your everyday life? I mean, like, you just find opportunities everywhere now? Like, how do you know what to say no to?
It's funny. No, it's good. So if you ask me to do something on a Sunday, I'm probably not going to do it. Sundays are for church and naps for me. Saturdays are occasionally. I'm a sucker for teenagers and parents. If it has anything to do with teenagers and parents, I'm probably going to make time to be there. I'm off on Fridays. Fridays are for lunch dates and brunches, planning, things like that. But Monday through Thursday, I'm a go-getter. I'm gonna work hard, and I'm gonna wake up probably 3, 4 in the morning, and I'll work till about 10 at night. That's my 4-day work week, I like to call it. But once I'm in the zone, I'm in the zone. And there's a lot that I've learned about business from 2017 and that $15 an hour Facebook post than where I am today. I didn't know what a business plan was or a marketing plan. I didn't know any of those things, and I'm still learning, you know, and so there's work to do until I'm at a place. I do see we're small businesses, but I do see myself going to a medium-sized business, going to a large, like I see it for myself, and it's gonna take work to get there, you know.
But at this point, you've never been afraid of the work. You know, so
the work is fun, though.
It was never about the work. And I think that's what sometimes people, as we try to build your business or build your whatever, the work is rarely what gets in the way.
No.
It's the fear of doing it, it's the unknown, it's the first step, it's the, and so it's why, if you can create it and turn it into a process, it's a little bit easier.
Yes.
Because now it's just work.
Yes.
Oh, this is just the next thing to do. That just takes work. Well, I'm not afraid of work. All right, well then let's go and do that.
Yes.
Yeah, and then what's the next thing after that? If we can get it to where it's just work, well now it's just work.
Yeah.
Yeah, now it's a little bit.
And the work is fun. You got into your businesses because you enjoy what you do, and you're considering doing it full time. You're considering, I'm gonna push aside working for somebody else or being a human resource for somebody else and doing it for myself because you enjoy the work. And so I'm blessed to have this opportunity to do that over and over again. Now, I'm also blessed to have a husband who will hold it down. You know what I'm saying? Financially, because entrepreneurship definitely has its highs and lows. Like I say, if you don't work, you don't eat. The Bible's true about this. You know what I'm saying? So when the bank account gets low, I'm like, y'all gonna see my Facebook post? I did a bunch today because my bank account, like, girl, you better find somebody to tutor. You know, like you gotta really put in the work. And yeah, the marketing, the advertising, like all of that, you know, it comes from a place of need, but the work is fun.
Yeah, absolutely. The bank account part is, we always talk about, you know, it's why you still have to go get the information. You have to look at your account, your finances. You have to look at what's realistic. Because every now and then, you know, we'll hear the story of like, I was driving by this place and God put this building there. Like, no, God did not put that building there. Like, if God spoke to you, he also said, your bank account is in a situation where maybe this building is not what you need to be doing right now. Like, balancing out the call to go there with called to go and get some more money first.
That is so interesting you said it just like that, because the building that I'm in now, people come to my current space and they're like, it's tiny in here and it's small, but we maximize the space, right? We do one-on-one tutoring, so we didn't need a lot of space. But I always knew that I needed something greater, something bigger. So I was always looking and not looking. And when I walked into this current space, everything in me said, this is what I want, this is for me. But my bank account didn't agree with that. It didn't. So, but I think, and I'm gonna say this, I think it takes faith. And anybody read Think and Grow Rich? The book, I know Dr. Chapis has, you have too. So there's faith, and there's a faith that you think of like church faith, but faith is believing without a doubt that something good, something's gonna come out of this. And it doesn't necessarily, faith is not just associated with religion, if you follow what I'm saying. But I have faith in God, but also in my ability to work and plan to maximize this new space. That what I lacked, I was gonna gain. And it took me to invest. And I'm gonna be transparent. I'm taking a loss. I'm leveraging. I have had a really great credit score, and I'm leveraging that. But it's for a need, because I see it. I have faith. Y'all can see it so clearly. Where above the limit is going, it's either grow or die. You know, like I gotta take that leap of faith and do it. And yes, God has opened up many, many doors as a result of me taking this leap of faith.
I think, and so it is, you can see where it can be. But you can't wait until then to start acting like that.
You cannot. It'll be too late.
You act like it now.
You act like it now.
You know, one of the conversations we had was with Corey McCoy from KOK. And so like, hey, these are 4 guys, before the restaurants, before the food trucks, before all that stuff, 4 guys throwing house parties and selling chicken at 2 in the morning. But if you were there, you would have seen one person acting like the CEO, one person handling the money, one person doing the operations, one person doing the marketing, even when they were in the back of the house. Even when they were in the back of their house, the plan was always get to this point. And we're gonna act like it now. We're not gonna wait. You can't wait to start now. We'll start acting like a business person. No, you start now.
This is good. You know, and I'm gonna be sharing a post soon in 2017 when I took that leap. In 2020, because I stopped teaching at my full-time teaching job in 2020. And let me say this, when I was teaching at that school, the last school I was at, I would tell my husband, I said, I'm leaving my part-time job, the teaching job, and I said, I'm going to my real job. And I confess that every day. I said, and I'm not saying leaving, I mean like leaving work. I'm going to my full-time job, which was above the limit.
Yeah, that's it.
But yeah, it just takes, you have to believe it, you have to see it. Oh, but in 2020, I declared that I was CEO. And I said to myself, I have to act like that. And so now I listen to books. I listen to an Audible all the time. Any Audible listeners in here? Forever Learning. And I have all kinds of Audibles I listen to. But I want to get in the mind of a CEO. Like, that's who I want to become. I do want to get to a place where I'm totally functioning as CEO and not doing all the other parts that I'm currently doing. But you have to see yourself as that and begin to act now, like what you're saying.
Yeah. You're building that skill now, because it's not like you're gonna wake up one day and it's a light switch. It's like, oh, now I know how to run meetings or to put together invoices or to put together, no, like all along the way, you're doing all those things so that if and when the opportunity arises, you're prepared. You're prepared to walk through the door, you're prepared to go to the meeting, you're prepared to get introduced to someone.
It's true, and being introduced to someone, that's another bonus of being plugged into this space. The networking. And, you know, my nature is I am very shy. That is my nature.
That's why I took multiple emails to get you to agree to come here to something you didn't know was gonna happen.
Yes, and after Leadership Lafayette especially, I began to be introduced to all kinds of people. And sitting in those rooms, I really didn't feel like I belonged. To not literally, y'all, I'm learning how to write contracts or send proposals to businesses to where I'm not necessarily going to find one family at a time for tutoring. But these people are like, hey, I have several students here. We're willing to invest in. Can we negotiate something with Above the Limit to where you can take our 6 students, our 15 students, and do it? You know what I mean? But it was like God setting me up for this, you know? And to come out of that place of telling myself I'm shy to opening my mouth and being able to speak, even though it sounds, trembly. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter how you sound. Is what's on the inside of you coming out, and is your gift making room for you.
So at this point, we've got an amount of time left. Questions, people, anything you would like to ask? Absolutely. Thank you, a round of applause. So, Cindy, why don't you jump in and?
You spoke a little bit about your business coach. So can you tell us how that came to be? Did somebody help you find someone? Did lead? How did that come to be?
That's a good question. So my very first business coach, I guess it was around 2021, and I found her on Facebook. She was in California. Her name was Ashley. Both of my business coaches' names Ashley. Interesting. Her name was Ashley. She called her, she was a business coach, but I knew somebody she worked with, and I saw her success. And so I called my friend, and I was like, who is this Ashley person? And can you connect me with her? And so Ashley and I worked together for about 8 months. I ended up actually going to California and meeting her. She's pretty amazing. But I didn't learn so much business from her as I learned how to break down lies that I believed about myself. I didn't realize the stories of lies I was telling myself. And she helped me walk into my purpose. But then I'm working with Ashley Mudd now. And Ashley Mudd was actually another connection with someone from Advantial. And she was also part of Leadership Lafayette. And I found, and she actually had just launched her coaching consultation business not that long ago. And she's been absolutely amazing to work with. So I don't know, do y'all have suggestions of business coaches?
We've always got suggestions, whether it's, now one thing I will say, whether it's a business coach or a insurance agent or a bank account that you go, I am always the proponent of, you talk to 3 of them. You find, you are hiring this person to be an employee for you. And that is the way that you need to look at it. So if you have to open up a business bank account, go to 3 banks, and if anyone is talking over your head or selling you something, out, leave. Just because you took a meeting doesn't mean you need to buy anything. It's okay. We go on dates all the time, doesn't mean you need to marry this person. Like, think about it like that. Like, this is an interview. I am deciding if I want to bring you along this journey for me. And so same thing, if you've got, if you think that, hey, listen, a business coach would really be helpful, be picky. Make them work for it. Like, make sure that you're getting someone who has your best interest in mind, has your goals in mind, not their own, not, if it's over your head or they're trying to break things, get out of there.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. Definitely vet them out, ask for referrals, ask them about who they prove the success of their previous clients. I'm a stickler for people respecting my time. So, it's important for you to be on time, be consistent, don't cancel on me a bunch of times, and remember what we talked about, and that's, what Ashley does. And she sees me at a greater place than where I see myself right now. And so she's calling me up higher, and that's what I need in my life.
Probably time for another 1 or 2 questions. Okay, go ahead.
Thank you for taking your time to come out. We're speaking about grants. So can you kind of elaborate or give some type of resources in regards to grants?
Gotcha. So the grant that I got was from LEADA, and I would not have known about it. So if somebody stopped in the parking lot too, Jonathan, I would not have known about it not for the emails coming from this place and the Small Business Development Center. And that might be 2 different things. LEAD and Small Business Development Center, SBDC, is in this building on the 2nd floor. If ever, I would encourage, Jillian is who I've been working with, I would encourage everybody to make a meeting at least one time. Like, she got on the whiteboard and was writing out marketing ideas and just brainstorming with me as if, she was on my team. And I've come here, they've helped me with my financials, they've helped me with my business plan. So SBDC is a great resource, but get on their email list, and that's how I get a lot of the grant information from them. Also, when people know, also talk about your business. Be very vocal about what you do when you meet people. Just slip it in there. Have a business card or something. People also know that I look for grants, or they know what I'm about, so they'll just tag me on Facebook There's a First Horizon grant out right now. That's one. Walmart has grants. Super One has grants. Like, there's all kinds. But definitely connect with the Small Business Development Center.
And that's a good point. I mean, is that there's times where we think that we're hesitant to continue to put out there like what we do, and or that we do this side hustle, or that we do this small business. But you can never remind people enough because everyone else is also telling what they're doing. And so, yeah, you may have to say 4, 5, 6 times for me to remember that, hey, if I come across a grant opportunity that oh yeah, like this would fit well with what Karen's doing because it's in education or ACT prep specifically. Or, you know, hey, this person focuses on CPR training, providing it for rural areas.
Yes.
Also, if I come across that, then I know. But if you're not telling people, how are they supposed to help you out?
You know,
if
I learned
it's
from,
there.
is it Miss Lisanne up there? I learned from, Miss Lisanne spoke in our last, I did the Women's Accelerate last time, and she said as women, we get together, we talk about like the kids, we talk about the home, but we rarely talk about business. And men talk about business all the time. Like, they're gonna let you know what business they're in, and they might even ask for a deal or something. I watch my brother-in-law, Furman Dugas painting, plug. He does it. Like, it doesn't matter if he's at a party, a wedding, he's whipping out business cards. And I'm like, we're at a wedding reception. He's like, and
It's a building, it can get painted.
and he has great business, and he just has that personality. Like, we are, as entrepreneurs, we are the marketing plan. You know what I mean? Like, how else are people gonna find out about us if we don't say? But as women, when we get together in rooms and talking to other people, slip it in there. You know, this is what I do. If you ever need help or know somebody who needs help, tell them to call me. It don't have to be a long proposal.
No, but you don't get tagged in posts if you don't let people know.
That's true. People, and look, tutoring, I'm so blessed. People will, above the limit, above beyond, whoever, if you've ever liked, tag, whatever, thank you, because it means a lot to me. People really do call. And if they don't call, they'll go to the website and check it out, or they'll pass the word to somebody else. Everybody's not your client. But that person is attached to hundreds of other people who might be your client, you know?
Yes, absolutely. We're right at 1:01, so I'd love to talk for another 3 hours, but.
This wasn't so bad.
That's what she does. Look how nice these people are. Look so nice. Everybody's clapping for you. It's great. Thank you so much. I mean, not only for being here, this is great, but more importantly, the attitude that you bring, the mindset that you bring towards tutoring, that you bring towards the community is incredible. I mean, we're so fortunate to know you and to watch what you do, and I love how you talk about where you see it going, and it's not if and if what, it's just, this is where it's going. It's speaking it with an inevitability aspect.
It's faith.
It's gonna happen.
It's faith. I really believe it.
Yeah.
I know, I really do.
Yeah.
And
But it's not, it's founded faith, right? Like, it's not hopeful faith.
No.
It's not wish faith. And whether, again, like, you sort of separating from like a religious faith, but
Yeah.
I've heard that personal faith, but like, listen, I know I can do it. I know I can do it. All right, so now I'm gonna start acting like I know I can do it
Yeah.
versus, well, maybe, and if, and
yeah. If you're wishy-washy, wavering like that, the chances are that you'll reach that goal is very, very slim.
or you won't be ready whenever the
You
opportunity
won't be
presents
ready, you know?
itself.
And it's not me being cocky in myself, no, but it's confident that, number one, God is gonna lead me on the path to where I'm going. And number two, He's gonna allow me to be, attract people who can help me get there. You know? I can't do it by myself. So He's gonna put people in my place to help me get there. Thank you, Jonathan.
This is great. All right, thank you again for being here. For people who maybe watched online, or if you want to watch it later, or I don't know what you're doing, thank you for joining us, and we'll do this again next week, where we'll do a conversation in the middle of a session in but we will we'll get started again, let's say in 13 minutes. But if you're like in the bathroom, I'll wait. So it's but we're going to try to get started around 1:15, 1:20. All right. Thank you.
Thank y'all.